Hey guys, welcome to Thursday. So, transparency, I'm actually shooting this today, which is Wednesday. I'm doing it along with the video for what will be yesterday's uh, dinner video. I had actually planned on doing a chocolate mayo cake, which there's a picture of on my Facebook page. You should check it out. And I did shoot a video for that, and then Abby, my beautiful 7-year-old, got a hold of my phone and managed to wipe out most of my stuff, which is okay. I mean, it happens. I still have pertinent things, but I lost that video in the process. So instead of making another chocolate mayo cake, because 2 in 1 week is a bit much, I thought today we'd do some cookies. So we're going to do some ginger snaps. I know you're saying to yourself, those are kind of holiday cookies. Wrong. A cookie is a cookie, and it's good any time of the year if that's what you want. I think a ginger snap is something you can eat all year long. You can buy them at the grocery store all year long, but they are predominantly made at Christmas time. So that being said, we're making a ginger snap today. First, I want to tell you, in all my videos, I want to start and telling a family story. Now, not so much my family, but that's what they're called in the news. And they're usually the feel-good stories. So this one I saw on Good Morning America on their webpage. I know the one I told Tuesday was about the little girls and the guy who brought them their presents. Today is on a lady named Jamie Lehman, I think. Jamie Lehman. And she started a nonprofit group, an organization. It's just her and volunteers. That's it. Nobody makes any money off of this. And they bake cakes for kids who don't have never had a birthday cake. I can't believe that that's a thing. I couldn't ever imagine being that bad off that I could not, and the horror the parents must feel of not being able to get their child a birthday cake. But these band of bakers, started by Jamie, bake cakes and give them to children who have never had a birthday cake. And I think that's absolutely amazing. I looked on our website. They're a nonprofit organization. They have bakers everywhere that volunteer. If you are a baker and you like to bake, jump on our website and take a look. It would be a quick, easy way to change a person's life. And it makes your heart feel a little better. And they have all skill sets, all skill levels, and different cakes for different skill levels that you can bake. And I mean, that's an awesome way to give back if you're a baker. And like I said, make somebody feel good. So you should check out their website, or their page, and donate or volunteer some time. It's absolutely amazing. So anyhow, we're making snickerdoodles. I don't want to run off on a tangent. Let's start with the ingredients list real quick. It's not an intense one, but it's not too bad. First thing you're going to need, scale. I'm going to preach it every time. Scale. Go buy one. $11. If you know me, contact me. I'll find you a scale. $11. They're just that important when it comes to baking. Cooking, you can get away with a lot of things, but baking, you want to be close, if not exact, depending on what you're making. All right, so anyhow, first things we're going to need. Let's go over the wet ingredients first. We're going to need 3/4 cup of butter. It's a stick and a half. I cubed mine up. It helps to get it to room temperature better because we need it at room temperature. Second two things we're going to need is a half a cup of plain white sugar, which a half a cup is 100 grams. And then you're going to need a half a cup of dark brown sugar, which is 105 grams. I got them in this bowl right here. Limited on bowls. And then your next set of wet ingredients are going to be, or to continue the wet ingredients, I got them sectioned off knowing, if you look at well, I can't really see it, maybe you can, but I've got mix these three together and then add these three to it and mix all together. So that way I remember what order to mix and how. So the next things are a half a teaspoon or 2 grams of vanilla. Vanilla is an amazing thing. Most of the time, vanilla is an option because it's just a flavor, but it adds so much to baking. And then you need 1 large egg, 1 large egg, or 50 grams. In case you don't have a large egg, it's usually like 2 small eggs equal a large egg. Not always, but it's close. And then you're going to need a quarter cup or 85 grams of molasses. That is all your wet ingredients. Your dry ingredients, there's a bit here. 2 cups, 260 grams of flour. Flour, it's just all-purpose regular flour. Your next ingredient is a half a teaspoon, 2 grams of salt. I use kosher salt. You can use regular salt. I just like kosher salt. Now, we do crush ours up a little bit because we found that it helps to not get a salt chunk in your mix. Next thing you're going to need is a half a teaspoon, 2 grams of baking soda. You're going to need 1.5 teaspoons or 3 grams of cinnamon. You're going to need 2 teaspoons, 4 grams of ginger. And it is powdered ginger, ground ginger. And then the last thing you're going to need, which I didn't get out, well, I didn't measure out, but it's right here, is a half a teaspoon, 1 gram of cloves. And I'll just put that in with the cinnamon. And what we'll do is we'll just take all that and whisk it together. All right, well, let me get set up so we can make some magic, and we'll move on with the next steps as I get my mixer out and all that. Okay, got the mixer set up, so we're ready to go there. First thing we want to do, now your butter should be at room temperature, which means it's softened. Now, if it's not close, the mixer will warm it up. You can do this with a hand mixer also. It doesn't have to be a stand mixer. It just so happens we own one, so, make the use of it. We bought this. If you don't bake all the time, so to speak, this might be an overkill investment. I don't know. But we bake all the time. We have a hand mixer, and we use it on occasion for quick things, brownies, stuff like that. But I know this is a workhorse. It'll get stuff done. So as far as options of what you need, in your kitchen, you may only need a hand mixer if all you do is bake on occasion. But those who do, I recommend investing in one, and buy a good one. Read your reviews, things like that. Do your research. That way you get one that is going to last. Like, this thing should last me forever. I might be able to hand this down to a child. So, anyhow, that being said, we're going to take the butter, and we're just going to cream it up. We're going to de-block it, make it all real nice and smooth. So it does not take long at all. Alright, I think we are good. Like I said, it doesn't take long at all. Especially if your butter's at room temperature, if it's truly at room temperature. Things go relatively quickly. So, I've said in several videos, always wipe down your edges. Get your stuff off the bottom. Now, the ironic thing about this particular recipe is we actually have to warm the butter up to get the butter cold at another point, which is kind of funny. All right, so we got that in there, and that's creamed. Butter's creamed up. We're ready to go. We're going to put our sugar and brown sugar in there, as such, and we're going to mix this all together. Now this you want to mix until it's not only creamy, but the sugar is completely incorporated with the butter. And you'll know it'll look like it'll be a dark brown sugar cream color, almost a tan, all the way through, and you won't see any bright spots of butter left. All right, so we got that together. Once again, spatula, clean off your sides, and you want to keep it in the middle. Now, at this point, if you've got like a couple little specks of non-incorporated butter, you're fine, because we still got to do more mixing. We got to get our molasses in there and our vanilla in there, and the egg. So, But you want to clean off your sides if it needs it. I mean, if it's something really liquidy and it's just running back down to the bottom, I don't know if you need to scrape. But with baking, for the most part, scrape in between every mix. All right, so now we're going to add our egg and vanilla. Can anybody tell me what I just did wrong there? All right, yeah, that was close. That was close. But what I did wrong was I broke the egg on the side. Now, there's not anything horribly wrong with that. The risk you take is getting a piece of shell into the thing you're trying to bake. Now, I have had that happen to me. I don't always do well cracking it on the counter, or well, not cracking it on the counter. All right, so I got our egg in there, vanilla, and last but not least, our molasses. You know, and molasses is amazing stuff. I mean, just absolutely amazing. I think it adds a very unique flavor. It's sweet. I don't even, if you wait, I'm sure you've had molasses, but if you haven't, I highly recommend trying it. Molasses is one of those things that reminds me of, old movies and holidays and things of that nature. It's just an old school product for cooking. And it lasts forever. It's one of the few things in life that doesn't have an expiration date. All right, so we're going to mix this up real quick. Then we want to get it all incorporated. Yeah. After we get this mixed up, we'll go ahead and go through our dry, do all our dry together. Dry will be really easy. We're literally just going to put it all together and mix it. All right, so we got that all together. Here, let me pop this off real quick so I want you to see what it looks like. So that way you kind of know, but it has a look and color of peanut butter. And it's not smooth, but I don't really want it smooth yet. We got to add in our dry ingredients and mix it again. So, but that is pretty much what you're looking for there as far as wet ingredients go. And that's what it should look like. It should have that color. Yeah. And about that consistency. Like I said, that's probably not perfectly mixed, but we're going to add the dry goods into it, so it's okay. All right, so dry goods, really, really simple. All we're going to do is take our flour. We're going to put our clove and our salt in there. We're going to put our baking soda in there. Our ginger. Man, these cookies are amazing. I got the recipe off of, once again, Joy Baking, Stephanie Jaworski. If you want to look up any of her recipes, joybaking.com. Got the cinnamon in there. Last thing I'm dumping in is the cloves. Oh, and then you try not to drop your prep bowl into the big bowl. And then we're just going to simply take a whisk it together. Yeah, now this is kind of important. If you have a sifter, which we do, I don't know why I don't ever use it, you could actually put this through a sifter and it would mix it really well. But if you don't have a sifter, whisk, fork, there's a ton of different options. You just want to get it good mixed together. You don't want any clumps of anything in it. It don't take but about 2 seconds. And then you're just going to get like an off-colored flour. Is what it's going to look like. So cinnamon is the only thing in it that's really dark, and there's not a whole lot of it in there. But it's believe it or not, it smells really good. You can smell the ginger, and then and you can smell the molasses that's in the cookies over there, and it is really nice. All right, so we're gonna put this in the mixer. I'm gonna do it in halves. Instead, but you can't. I suppose you could just put it all in at the same time. But I want to be able to make sure it all gets in there good. I guess it's one of those cases of less more often. Got half of the mix. I'm gonna scrape off the sides here. Now we'll put our second half in. And we'll get that mixed in. Now remember, when you turn your mixer on, you put your flour and stuff in there. Start on low. If you don't, you're going to have a face full of flour. I know. I've done it. And it's kind of funny, but it's a lot to clean up. Yeah, flour is not your friend. Not by any stretch of the imagination. All right, we got that incorporated. Now, the color didn't really change at all on, I got a little darker. It's about the same consistency, not quite as lumpy. So after you get that mixed up, well, actually it's not lumpy at all. It's actually very creamy. Yeah, I don't want you to have the impression it should be a lumpy cookie dough. This shouldn't. I mean, everything should be mixed together. We're not making a cake, so we don't want to incorporate a bunch of air into it or anything like that. I tell you, and as far as these cookies go, we made last holidays with this recipe, and they are hands down the best ginger snap cookie I've ever had. They're insane. All right, so after we get done cleaning the utensil off here, we're going to you want to take your bowl off, and you just want to give it a good mix with your spatula, just to make sure everything's good to go. So, as you can see, it doesn't take long to prep these at all. About a whole 10-15 minutes, and that includes just getting the stuff out to get it together. If I wouldn't have talked, you would have just sat there and watched me in silence, which would have been, in my opinion, kind of boring. We would have been to this in about 10 minutes, and then you figure 5 minutes of prep time, depending on how well you know your kitchen and how many people utilize your kitchen. Because I'm here to tell you, everybody comes in my kitchen, puts something back in a different place, which makes it fun. Yeah, keeps it entertaining. All right, so here's the shenanigans part of this cookie. What we're going to do is I'm going to take a piece of saran wrap. I'm going to wrap it over the top of this. And then you got to let this sit in the fridge for about an hour. You want it to harden up. And that way, now I'm not talking like brick hard. I'm talking firm. Remember how I said earlier that, we were just softening the butter to get it right back cold again? That's exactly what we're doing. We're going to chill this. It'll make it easier to put into balls, which will be the next step before we put it in the oven. This is why I didn't tell you in the beginning to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, because I knew we were going to get to this point. But anyhow, I digress. I'm going to go ahead and get this in the fridge, and I will see you in, what will be for me an hour, you for just like half a millisecond. All right, see you in a second. All right, guys, so we let our dough chill for an hour. Now we're going to work out our dough balls, because the next thing we need to do is make up dough balls, cookie dough balls, yeah. And then flatten them out, throw them in the oven. That's the next process. But here's where a scale comes in handy. And I don't know, I have a cookie scoop. Even if you're not into florals and or Pioneer Woman, as far as that goes, I really like this scoop. Get one, at least find one and see its weight. It's got a good solid weight and it holds up very well. And I think they make more than the floor pilots. That's just what we happen to have. Anyhow, I'm just gonna, you can use a spoon, whatever, but you want to make the balls 20 grams. And then that way, so why do you weigh out your cookies? Well, you weigh out your cookies, you want them to weigh about the same. These don't have to weigh exactly 20 grams, but it would be helpful. You want them to, that way they bake even. Sorry, I got sidetracked. But you want them to bake even and, be all done at the same time. So you want to make them all the same size. So majority of the cookies I make, I weigh. You can make them a little bigger, a little smaller. I mean, whatever. Like my chocolate chip cookies, they weigh 35 grams each. And they're a good size cookie. Yeah, and a lot of cookies are about 35 grams, 35 to 40 grams to make big cookies. So you use your scale. I got a bunch of them to do on it, but I want to talk about something right quick. All right, so pans, I'm using cookie sheet, just like you showed. I have mine lined with parchment paper, even though these are a non-stick aluminum pan. They're not Teflon coated. We just bought these, as a matter of fact. They're just a true aluminum pan. Even when I was using the Teflon ones, I use parchment paper. Just makes life a whole lot easier, and then you don't have to clean your pan afterwards. Hopefully, everything goes to the parchment paper, and you end up with a nice clean pan. You just got to wipe it off. Now, when you put these on the tray, you want to give them a couple inches apart. Now, my parchment paper has lines on it. Don't get skimpy on parchment paper. It's not worth it. But mine has a grid on it. My parchment paper does. And I want these about 2 inches apart. Now, these are full-size baking sheets, so I should be able to get a fair amount on here. Let me get the rest of these rolled into balls, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. All right, I got them all scooped out. I got them at 22 grams, not 20, because I wanted a little bigger cookie. After that, I took, in this case, a mason jar, but you can use glass, and I smashed them down to about 2.5 inches. Ginger snaps aren't a big cookie; they are a smaller cookie, hence the snap. And it should be a little. You'll see. All right. So anyhow, our next step is put them in the oven. So let's talk about the oven for a minute. When we started doing these up, when I started balling them up, right before that, I turned my oven on 350 degrees. That's what you want to bake it at. Now, how long? Well, we'll give you parameters. 9 to 11 minutes. I know mine, I can get away with 8 minutes. But 9 to 11, checking at 8 is probably your best bet. That way, you don't burn them. Because you want it to be somewhat soft, some kind of soft. I mean, they'll be a little crispy around the edges, softer towards the middle. You'll see. They're like a ginger snap cookie. I don't know any other way to explain it, but they're not. At least these ones aren't hard. They're not. I don't know how. You'll see. Anyhow, you're gonna 9 to 11 minutes. Start checking it at about 8. You're looking for it to be a golden brown and crisp around the edges. Here, I can show you a done one off the test batch I ran. They should look like this, basically. And that way, got a nice golden brown color and all that. All right, well, I'm going to get these in the oven. I'm going to bake them personally for 8 minutes, but the original recipe calls 9 to 11. Like I said, your oven may vary. Make sure you rotate your pan 180 degrees front to back while baking. All right, about halfway through. All right, I'll see you when they're out and we're cooling them down. And well, it'll be cool because I just showed you what they look like, what they should look like. So, and then and we'll taste it. All right, I'll see you here in a minute. All right, timer just went off. We did our 8 minutes. Get them here out of the oven. Be careful, they will be hot. Oh, they ended up reading together a little bit. That's all right, though. So now we know on these cookie sheets, 4, not 5 across. Yeah, but there are our cookies. So what do we do next? We simply take them, leave them on the pan, put it on a wire rack. You want a wire rack so that way the air will cool it underneath and on top evenly. It helps it cool quicker. If you left it sit like we just sat it down on this surface, this would keep it insulated and the bottom wouldn't cool and it would take forever to cool. So we're gonna let this cool for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then when I come back here in a millisecond, we'll taste one, see how it goes. All right, so we let them cool on the pan for about 2-3 minutes, and then we brought them over here to the cooling rack. And we're gonna let them finish cooling. Now I am gonna try one, and they've been sitting here for a minute. I don't know what was going on upstairs, but it sounded like something was coming through the ceiling. If you're a parent, you understand. But here's our cookies. Now, one thing I did fail to mention, sorry, you want to sit up close, right there, is now there's 3 ways you can do these. These particular ones here don't have any sugar on them. All right, we did that because it opens it up. Plus, we don't really need the extra sugar. But now I can, if I wanted, I could take 2 of these and either make an icing or a filling or put some ice cream on it. And it isn't like I think it would make it overbearingly sweet. That's just my opinion. If you want sugar on them, you can do it one of 2 ways. When you make your balls up, get you a half a cup of sugar, put it in a bowl, and you can roll that around in the sugar. And then stick it on the pan to be baked. Or after you've already rolled them, put them on the pan, flattened them, you can sprinkle sugar on top of it. That way you still have that extra sweetness. That's completely up to you. Alright, so the original Ginger Snap cookie is actually a very crisp, crunchy cookie. Hence the term snap. You know, when you can break it and it snaps. Mine are not. This recipe is not. It does not snap for you. You know, it is a soft batch cookie. We like soft batch cookies. Now, it tastes good. It tastes just like a Ginger Snap. Either way it goes, it tastes like a Ginger Snap. Now, that being said, sorry, I didn't mean to talk with my mouth full. These cookies here, as they sit, they will harden. Right now, this one's still kind of warm, so it's still tender. As they sit, they will get crisp. What you're looking for on these cookies is when you pull them out of the oven, this edge here is going to be crisp. You know, there's no giving it at all. As you get to the center, though, you can smush it a little. You know, it got flat on us. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you should be able to smush it all the way to the edge. And then at the edge, it won't smush. Oop. That's what you're looking for when you pull it out of the oven. And they should be a nice golden brown on top. Alright, so that is how we make our Ginger Snaps. I hope you enjoyed the recipe. I hope it works for you. Try it. I know we like them. And any cookie is good throughout the year. You make them yourself, you know what's in it, you don't have a bunch of junk in it that you don't need. So, anyhow, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you try them. If you do, let me know. You know, or if you don't, let me know. If you think they suck, let me know. Just let me know. All right? I love you. Tell somebody else you love them. And you have a great rest of your day. All right? I'll talk to you later. Bye.